I'm Greg Brown for Newsmax TV Money. We're back in the studio with David Frazier, editor of the ETF Strategist. David, the market is falling, and continues to fall. It's really amazing to watch. But I take it none of this is terribly surprising. Talk about that if you would.
The trend of the market, no, it's not surprising whatsoever. I actually was a bit surprised that the market did not rally earlier this week, not because of any fundamental reasons, but because this time I falsely assumed that most investors would incorrectly feel confident once again when the government stepped in with this bailout plan, and that stock prices would rally for a couple of days. So I got that one wrong. This time I was unable to forecast accurately how investors would perceive those actions. However, the trend of the market, no, there is nothing surprising about this. And let me stop there for a moment to, when I say there's nothing surprising, that I remember doing a video a few months ago when I forecast the Dow to fall below 10,000 to around the 9,700 level within a couple of months. So no, we did that earlier in the week, or was it last week? I don't recall.
Just a couple of days ago, actually.
But now it looks as if the mass of investors have completely lost faith in the government, and they're just scared to death now. But as far as the trend of the market, there's nothing surprising about this. So what I would like for our audience to do, in fact, I really urge them, I cannot urge strongly enough, I've said this many times in the past, the majority of the so-called experts that our audience and everyone else will see on numerous financial shows there's no reason to listen to these people. I'm dumbfounded. I constantly wonder to myself, are these people, these so-called experts, these persons with these big degrees, these big credentials, are they really this out of touch? Are they purposely misleading people? Or is it that they simply do not know what they're doing and they got their positions at their firms simply through contacts and have moved up over the years? Because the extent of their advice is absolutely pitiful. It cannot be worse. I began telling people over a year ago that stock prices were going to trend lower, that the economy was going to continue to slow and to grow at a very sluggish pace at best. I initially began advising subscribers to our ETF letter, the ETF Strategist, to invest in inverse index funds over a year ago. We've made some good returns in this market. We've not made as good of returns as I had hoped for because I unfortunately got out of some of our short positions earlier this week, thinking we'd see a short-term rally and then was going to go back in. But still, our subscribers and those few people, hopefully it's more than a few, that have listened to me, you know where they are right now financially? They're at worst. They're the same place they were a year ago at worst, meaning they at worst have all of the money that they had a year ago. But those people that have listened to these so-called experts, and they're not experts, these people are worthless. I'm talking about the huge majority. There are exceptions, and one exception is a man by the name of Joe Battipaglia. Has been very, very accurate, and I have great respect for it. Jim Rogers has been very, very accurate. But the huge majority of money managers, economists, I just don't get it. They literally don't know what they're doing, or they've been purposely deceiving people. And everyday investors that have listened to these people are down big. I'm talking about 25, 30, 50%. I've had my brother and several friends over the past few weeks. Fortunately, my brother came to me about 2 months ago and asked for some help, and I got him in cash. But most people are just now coming to me. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
That was then. Let's talk about going forward. How are you going to make money for your subscribers to the ETF Strategist? What do you see briefly going forward?
Sure. Well, briefly going forward, I think what we'll see here is there's a very good chance that today, we're recording this on Friday, that the Dow is around 8,000 right now, 8,200, somewhere in that area. I think there's the biggest probability is we're going to stay right around the 8,000 level. However, there is about a 20% probability that the Dow could break down to as low as 7,200 within a few days.
7,200, wow.
Yes.
Okay.
If that were to happen, I would expect stocks to rally sharply back up to the 8,000 level within a couple of days if that were to occur. In either case, once they're, they either stay where they are now or they drop even more and come back
up.
I see stocks trading sideways for several months now, the next 3 to 6 months, with a lot of volatility. Now, you asked me specifically what I would do in that case. What I will do in that case is I will advise our subscribers to more actively trade, I don't mean daily or weekly, but to more actively trade the ETFs that I recommend to take advantage of the false rallies, okay, to go long, and also then to turn around and go short after we've rallied to take advantage of the pullbacks. If we look further out, there are going to be tremendous investment opportunities that are going to be presented over the next year. I mean, the China and India story is not dead, quite the opposite. I see the Chinese and Indian economies continuing to expand at a very healthy pace in the years ahead. And as a result, with the Chinese market down about 65% now, since reaching its highs late last year, there are going to be tremendous investment opportunities there. So what I would urge to do, this really is not about me. There's many things I can do in life and many things I have done in the investment securities industry. Maybe it was my upbringing, I don't know what it is, but I have this desire to really help individual investors make money. And what I urge those folks to do is come to Money News. Read what I have to say. Go back and look what I've said over the past year. I have a documented track record of what I've said, and almost everything that I have said has turned out to be accurate. But it's not just me. It's not just about David Frazier. We have numerous other writers at Newsmax and Money News that have also given very sound advice. So please, investors out there, do turn off these financial shows. They're going to continue to get you in trouble. They are of no value. Throw away your financial newspapers. I have not read the Wall Street Journal, Barron's, or various other financial publications for about 15 years, okay? And that's why I've been very accurate, because I don't listen to this nonsense. I collect and analyze my own data, and it's been very clear as far as where the economy was headed, where it's going to continue to head, and it's been very clear that stock prices were going to fall. There's nothing surprising about this. No.
We're in the studio here with David Frazier, editor of the ETF Strategist. David, thank you for your time today.
Sure, you're welcome.
I'm Greg Brown for Newsmax TV Money.